Okay, you call yourself a Republican. Are you okay with cutting Medicaid? Are you okay with cutting food programs that feed the needy? Are you okay with cutting energy programs that keep the heat on for seniors and kids? Are you for that? Because that's what the Trump bill does. It cuts 13.5 million people off of health care. 13.5 million people will have no coverage if this passes. Tens of thousands of kids will be kicked off of food programs. They won't be able to get food. And countless numbers of seniors will have their power shut off at important times like during the winter. This is the Republican bill. And my question to you is, do you call yourself a Republican? And if you do, why are you for something so terrible? I'm just asking.
Are tens of millions of people really about to lose their health care? Yes. All this is happening very soon, and it's all going to happen in one committee. The committee is Energy and Commerce. I'm on that committee, and we're about to have the debate. Are they going to start the debate and say, we're about to cut health care for tens of millions of people? No. Here are the three things that they're going to say. Number one, they're going to say Medicaid, which provides health insurance for 70 million Americans. Let's kick it to the states. But the fact is that the federal government covers 70% of Medicaid. The states do 30%. When you kick it to the states, they're not going to be able to cover the gap. So if you hear we're going to kick it to the states, that means they're going to cut healthcare. Number two, work requirements. Fact is, almost everyone on Medicaid works, and if they can't work, there's a reason. Congressional Republicans know this. They've tried this in a couple of states. It hasn't worked. But what has worked is that people have a hard time with the paperwork. They get stuck in the bureaucracy, and they lose their coverage. These are people who are already working. They're in school. They have a disability. They still lose their health care. Number three, this is the biggest one. They're going to say we want Medicaid only for the people who really need it. In fact, and this is a direct quote from the speaker, they want to keep Medicaid for people who have real disabilities as opposed to the people who have fake disabilities. So what they're saying is that Medicaid has expanded to cover more and more people over the years, and they want to take away the health care of those 20 million people who get health care through Medicaid. Here's the thing. Most people don't care where they get their health care. They just know they need their health care. And but for us and winning this fight, they're going to lose their health care. We expanded Medicaid to include tens of millions of people who can't get it anywhere else. They can't get it through their work. They can't afford it privately. And so they get it through Medicaid. So when you hear Medicaid, think healthcare. It's healthcare. It's healthcare for tens of millions of people. When you hear kick it to the states, that means they're going to cut healthcare. When you hear work requirements, that means they're going to cut healthcare. When they say we're just going to focus on the most vulnerable, that means they're going to cut healthcare. They're cutting healthcare for tax cuts for the super wealthy. Meaning that if they don't extend the tax cuts for the super wealthy, they don't have to cut anyone's healthcare. I'm going to be in the room for this fight, and I intend to do everything in my power to win it. The more they hear from you, the more likely it is that we win this fight and everyone gets to keep their healthcare.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something serious, and honestly it's a little shocking. Right now, many MAGA supporters, the same people who strongly supported the Republican Party, are crying. Some are making videos online, breaking down in tears. Oh, do you know why? Do you really know why? Because Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, were just cut by the Republican politicians they voted for. So now they are scared, they are angry, and they are saying, we didn't expect this. Oh, really? You didn't expect this? But here is the thing. We need to talk about why this is happening and what it really means, not just for MAGA supporters, but for everyone in America. Let's get into it.
Late last night, while you were sleeping, House Republicans released their official budget plan, including billions of dollars in cuts to Medicaid funding. You know, the same exact cuts they've been swearing weren't going to happen and claiming were just a Democratic lie. Yeah, turns out they were the ones lying to American families all along. And now they're releasing the evidence of those lies under cover of darkness, hoping that you'll be too busy or too distracted to notice. They begin committee markup on these cuts tomorrow. That means we have less than 24 hours to get loud and scare the shit out of them, making it very clear that we, the American people, do not want cuts to Medicaid, especially just so that they can pay for more tax cuts for billionaires. And look, I know there are a lot of conservatives that hate watch my content. And I know that y'all think everything I say is bullshit, no matter how much evidence I show you. But you don't even have to take my word on this one. Even far-right Senator Josh Hawley, is sounding the alarm on this one. In a New York Times op-ed that just dropped today, he flat out says that his Republican colleagues are planning on making massive cuts to Medicaid that will cost millions of Americans their health care, and that they're doing it in order to fund, in his words, corporate giveaways. He called Medicaid a lifeline and warned Republicans that gutting it would be a disaster, not just morally, but also politically. When Josh Hawley is the voice of reason, you know that your party has lost the plot. So let's be clear. This budget isn't about fiscal responsibility. It's not about balancing the books. If it were, they'd be talking about closing tax loopholes for billionaires and mega corporations. But they're not. Instead, they're coming for your grandparents in nursing homes. They're coming for working moms who rely on Medicaid for prenatal care. They're coming for disabled folks who already fight every single day just to access basic health services. This budget is a test. It's a test of whether people will pay attention. It's a test of whether we're going to let rich assholes and MAGA extremists dismantle what little remains of our country's social safety net while billionaires buy bigger yachts. So here's what I need you to do today, right now. Call your member of Congress and tell them, hands off Medicaid. No cuts, no work requirements, no games. Just a straight up demand to protect the people that this program was built for. If you've never called your representative before, this is the time to start. It takes 2 minutes. Just Google their name and contact, call the number and say, I am a constituent and I am demanding that you vote no on any bill that cuts Medicaid funding, period. Because if we don't speak up right now, they will absolutely get away with this.
Hey, MAGA. Republicans decided last night, early wee hours, to sneak in cuts to Medicare. Medicare. Not just Medicaid. Now it's Medicare. They just snuck it in. You know why? Because they need money for those tax cuts. That's all they care about. How many people do you know are on Medicare? There's a lot of them. A lot of people with disabilities are going to feel this. Oh, it's happening. It's happening, isn't it? Everything we said was going to happen. I mean, I'm an empathic person, and I do feel something right now for you guys, but I really don't. I look forward to the videos you're going to make because it's going to happen. Hold on. I'm going to say this, $500 billion in automatic cuts to Medicare. But he's getting $45 million for his parade. Woo!
All right, look, I've had enough of y'all fucking talking about these cuts to Medicaid. The world is coming to an end. Do you know what the cuts are to Medicaid? No, you probably don't. No, you just heard $881 billion cut for Medicaid. Oh my God. Well, let me educate you. Here is just the first page of the cuts. Cut number 1, saving $35 billion over 10 years. Limit federal health program eligibility based on citizenship status. That's just saying that people who are here illegally don't get to use Medicaid. That's something you have told us isn't happening anyway. So you obviously agree with that cut. Cut number 2, eliminate Medicare coverage of bad debt, saving $42 billion over 10 years. Do you know what bad debt is? You probably fucking don't. So let me explain it to you. Bad debt is where you have a debt with a hospital beyond what your coverage pays. So like, let's say you have private health insurance. Now, your health insurance is going to pay their piece, and then you have your leftover piece. Now, if you don't pay that, that is what's known as bad debt. Now, under no circumstances will your private health insurance company cover your bad debt. However, if you have Medicaid, the American taxpayer will cover up to 65% of that debt. Now, how hospitals use that to their advantage is they up the prices for people on Medicaid, therefore making that bad debt increase dramatically, and the American taxpayer pays 65% of it. All this would say is that we're not going to do that anymore. Therefore, hospitals can't charge more for people on Medicaid because they're not going to make any extra money from it. Who the fuck is opposed to that? Next, Medicare site neutrality, set to save $148 billion over the 10 years. That one's actually really simple. All that says the hospitals can't charge people on Medicare and Medicaid more. It just says they have to charge people on Medicare and Medicaid the same prices they charge people on private health insurance or cash. Is there anyone who's opposed to that? No, I didn't think so. Now, from just those three, we're looking at $200+ billion in savings. Now, I imagine if I said we're going to cut $200 billion from Medicaid, y'all would freak the fuck out. However, when you do a little bit of fucking research, when you actually look into the topic that you're bitching about and making TikToks about, you can see that $200 billion worth of cuts you agree with. Like I just showed you 1/4 of all the cuts they want to make. And here's the thing, if you're remotely have fucking common sense, you don't disagree with any of them. So just please remember that when you're like, oh my God, they're making cuts to Medicaid. Yeah, you fucking agree with them.
The mainstream media is lying to you, so since you guys don't want to dig deeper on certain subjects, I will. Shocker, I know. I've repeatedly seen and heard different articles saying that Republicans are cutting Medicaid costs, saying that we don't care about working class families, children, elderly, disabled. Okay, so let's do the one thing that the left hates to do and actually look at the numbers. On April 14th, a group of Republican lawmakers sent a letter to House leadership seeking assurances for Medicaid programs. In that letter, they said that program reforms are necessary, but continued coverage for vulnerable populations should not be reduced. Continued coverage for vulnerable populations should not be reduced. Critics of the reconciliation bill have claimed that it would result in Medicaid cuts. And what do you know, after a fiscal analysis, that contradicts that claim. And according to Jonathan Ingram, who's the Vice President of Research for the Foundation of Government Accountability, this bill would actually increase Medicaid funding by 25%. Just in case you still don't believe me, you can pause and read this graph. Oh, that 25% is also after $880 billion in savings. Well, looks like you're lied to again, folks. Just look deeper into certain subjects. Don't believe everything you see on TV and read on the internet. If it makes you feel better, fact check me.
Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, May 13th. Well, yeah, the groundwork is there to cut Medicaid. It also is laying the groundwork for, they don't exactly call it cuts, but Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid are both in here, or all three in here. And the line that they're using is, it is to protect these three core programs from fraud, waste, and abuse. We all know what that means. So, the other thing that is in here is to raise the debt ceiling $4 trillion. I've got my coffee. Let's go talk about it, because this is going to change the lives of 8.5 million people, and not in a good way.
It's 7:15 and I am leaving the Capitol to head home to Delaware after Republicans passed the largest cut in Medicaid in American history, the largest cut in food assistance ever in this country. And that's not just me or House Democrats saying that. That's the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office saying that. This is a terrible bill, but it was a close vote, a very close vote. And it now goes to the Senate, where we have more opportunities to take out the cuts to Medicaid, to help working people, not to line the pockets of billionaires and major corporations. But we need you to continue to lift your voice. It goes to the Senate, and it'll probably come back to us eventually again if and when the Senate changes it. But this fight is not over. Democrats held the floor so that Republicans couldn't pass this heinous bill in the dark of night. The sun rose, and the public sees what House Republicans have just done.
So here is what we know. Republicans have voted to cut major programs that help people. Medicaid, which gives free or low-cost health care to poor and disabled people. There is also Medicare, which helps old people get the health care they need. And lately, there is SNAP, which helps low-income families to buy food. These are not small cuts. These are big, painful cuts. Now, people are realizing, wait a minute, I use these programs. My mom needs Medicare. My kids need SNAP. What am I going to do now? And guess what? Many of the people saying this are MAGA supporters. They believed the Republican Party would protect them. But now they feel betrayed. Oh my God. This is so heartbreaking. People are desperate. They have no hope for the future. I'm not here to make fun of anyone. Let's be clear about that. I'm not laughing at people crying. No, I'm not happy that people are suffering. But I do have to say this. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Yeah, you have to believe them. The Republican Party has said for years that they want to cut government spending. They have said they don't like welfare programs. They have said this. They believe people should take care of themselves without help from programs like Medicaid and SNAP. So now they are doing exactly what they said. Yeah, this is the truth. They said this and now they are doing it. The problem is a lot of voters didn't listen carefully. They thought, oh, those cuts are for other people, not me. Oh, Lily, I'm the good American. I'm safe. But the truth is, poverty doesn't care who you vote for. Illness doesn't care who you support. And when these benefits are gone, it's not just other people who suffer. It's you. It's your mom, your kids, your neighbor, your grandma. So yes, people are crying, but it's also a wake-up call. So what happens now? Well, some people are finally realizing that politics is not a game. This is not about red versus blue. This is about people being able to go to the doctor, buy medicine, feed their children. We are seeing videos of people saying, what am I going to do? This is what they are saying. I voted Republican my whole life. I didn't think they would cut my benefits. I cannot afford insulin now. I don't know what to do. I worked hard all my life. Why are they doing this to us? And to that, I say, now you understand. For years, poor people, disabled people, and working class people have been warning about this. They have been saying these cuts will hurt us all. But nobody listened. Or they thought it was just lazy people using these programs. But now, reality is hitting hard. Yeah, now they are opening eyes. And I hope this changes something in people's hearts and minds. Okay? Here is my honest opinion. We need to stop voting based on hate, fear, or party loyalty. We need to vote based on who will take care of the people, who will protect healthcare, food and support for the poor, who sees us as human beings, not just votes. Yeah, and it's okay to be upset, it's okay to feel betrayed, but what we do next, that's what matters. So I hope this moment helps people think deeper. Don't just listen to what politicians say, look at what they do. Because the actions can hurt your people, even the people who love them. That's all I have to say for now. This story really got to me because no one should have to suffer like this. Not in a country with so much. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you feel sorry for the MAGA supporters? Do you think this was coming? Do you think this will change how people vote? Do you think so? So let me know in the comments. Please like this video if it helped you understand what's going on and subscribe for more real talk like this. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Bye.